Good morning. One of the most important things that we can do in our family is to build relationship with each other. And relationship happens when we engage with each other's lives, when we get to know each other's thoughts and feelings and passions. And we can think that just because we're a part of the same family, that this will happen automatically, but it doesn't. So thanks for sitting with me this Tuesday as we just chat, as if you were joining me for a cup of tea in my home. One of the things that we did in our family when our kids were all at home was bring conversation very intentionally around the dinner table. And I would, more nights than not, while I was cooking dinner, think about something that would be relevant for us to talk about over dinner together. Now, we homeschooled, and we homeschooled in a way that the kids were very involved with each other in their studies, which meant asking them, what did you do today? Or what did you learn today? Was kind of a moot point because we already knew, because we were so involved with each other throughout the day. So I had to think a little bit broader than those normal things that bring a family together. One of the tools that I found was this box. Now it's back the front, I think, sorry. It's TAOC, and it's called The Art of Conversation. And this box is full of conversation prompts that we used. One of the funny things that happened in our family was we were watching a movie. I can't remember what movie it was, and there was this awkward situation around the dinner table, and in order to overcome the awkward situation, somebody picked up the bowl of mashed potato and offered more mashed potatoes to everybody, and this became a little bit of a family joke of something that we picked up. And so when things became awkward, when things became like no one was talking, or maybe we had a heated conversation and then you don't know where to go next, then someone would pipe up and say, potatoes, anybody, even if we didn't have potatoes on the table. And then as we got used to this box of cards, that was something else that the kids started to say was like, let's have a card. And this box of conversation starters became our bowl of mashed potatoes. So I thought I would pick one today and just let you see what it was like. So what we would do is tell everyone we were going to have a conversation, a carded conversation, and we would pick up the card and I would read the question. And then one person needed to answer that question. And they could answer it in any way they wanted to. And then the idea was, because we wanted to stimulate conversation, that before anyone else could throw in their 2 cents worth on that question, somebody had to ask that original person another question. Because that's how conversation happens. It's not just about everyone answering one question that helps us get to know each other, but we dig deeper as we go from one to being inquisitive about that person who's answered the question. So here's my question. Have you ever grown a plant in a garden or a pot? Well, if that question was asked of me, I would say yes. I have grown both gardens in pots and a veggie garden, though Peter does our outdoor garden these days. I have a heritage of green thumbs, and I wish that I grew more, and I have a desire to grow orchids. I used to grow roses, and I really miss those roses, and I miss having flowers in the house. So there you go. There's my answer about gardening. Now, someone could ask me, who influenced you the most about your gardening? So my answer would be, I think my grandmother influenced me the most. I would visit my grandma every couple of years. We lived away from family, and one of the things we always did when I visited with my grandma was we would go for a walk through her garden and through her shade house. And she would tell me about the plants. She would tell me about the problems that she'd had with this particular plant and what she did to remedy it. And then she would talk about where she got these pot plants from. She collected plants and she gave plants away. And I must admit, that's one of my goals, is to have a shade house where I can grow pots and raise flowers with the idea of giving them away. And I get that idea, that heart, from my grandma. So there you go. That would be like a family conversation, but I'm doing all the talking. And then what would happen is I would say, does anyone else want to talk about gardening? Which is probably a little bit staged, but that's what we did. And so then someone else would say, I can't think of anything worse than having to grow, get my hands dirty. Or someone else would, and then someone would have to actually ask them a question to dig deeper into their feelings about that. Now, the idea of TAOC is it's a game, and they have rules that help you have conversation with these cards. But we found that that was a little bit stilted. And so we took the idea of the rules of engagement, so to speak, that you ask somebody a question, you listen, and then you ask them to dig deeper, and then you share something of yourself. And as we did that, often we would only have one card a night over dinner, and we dug into some random, interesting, and sometimes deep questions. Now, TAOC is an Australian company, which I find exciting as an Australian, but they have lots of different packs now. There's a literature pack, a travel pack. I think I noticed a pack for couples, conversation for couples, and this pack was for children though, and we found that had more than enough depth for our teenage family and our young adult family. And look, Pete and I would still pull a card sometimes when it's just the two of us having dinner together. So I hope you find that a good idea, and that maybe it encourages you to bring something broader to your family dinner times, to start talking around the table. Maybe even talk in the car, have it in your handbag for those times that you're waiting for anything. So stimulate conversation in your family. It's how you bring your family together. It's how you build connections and memories, and how you express your love for each other. Anyway, thanks for sitting with me today. I'll catch up with you next week. Bye.